It was super awesome. With that said, we are going to jump into the topic tonight, which is finding your niche and building your dream team. And we're going to go into how you can go about this, why it's so important, and how you can implement it in your own organization. So let's go ahead and start. So a little bit about me. I have to give photo credit here to Miss Sam, who's on this call. So any sort of the professional pictures, I want to give her the credit. She deserves it. But about me, so I've been a coach for just over 2 years now. I signed up in November of 2013, but I didn't start building my business until April 2014. So I was a discount coach for a little bit, started building a business, and now here I am, a little over a year and a half later, a full-time Beachbody coach. So it's been a really crazy journey. I'm the founder of Balance Fit Foundation, which is one of the branch offs of Fit Foundation. And in 2015, our team actually went premier. So that was a huge moment for us. We were very excited. It took a lot of effort. Totally not that numbers matter, but we have 4 personally sponsored coaches and a lot of actual in between diamonds right now on the team. So it's really cool for us to kind of see the growth that's been happening, especially over the last year. Really proud of those girls, and it really is about kind of finding that niche community. Finding my niche, it's always a work in progress, and I point that out because I think as any coach grows and kind of builds the organization and builds themselves and works on sort of what they're looking for long term in this, is your niche is always going to change, and kind of what you're looking for is always going to change. So it's never going to be kind of a set thing, but it's so cool to constantly be redefining it and developing it along the way. I have in here rapport as a strength and a weakness, and why I'm qualified to host this call. I am really excited to host this call for you guys because I will be the first to tell you that I had no freaking clue what my niche was for a very long time. And I think that when a new coach signs up, kind of one of two things can happen. You're either going to have the coach that immediately knows exactly what they're looking for, they know exactly what their team looks like, they know just the type of girl they want to find. And then you have the coach, like me and a lot of other people on this team, who sign up and they're just kind of like, I have no clue what my niche is. I have no clue what I'm looking for. I know I just want this, but I don't know what that looks like big picture. And I include in here the rapport as a strength and a weakness because for a long time, I really struggle. I have great talent at building rapport with people. I can really, no matter who I talk to, I can find a way somehow to become friends with that person or somehow walk away from the situation with them still having a positive impression of me. Which, as I'm sure instantly you can think, okay, that's a great trait to have as a coach. However, while it is a great trait, it also kind of halted me a little bit because I was so able to relate to everyone that I had a really hard time finding my niche. And so I think it's a really cool opportunity here to be sitting here and hosting this call and really talk about sort of how I got past that and past sort of the trying to be friends with everyone and really identify the specific people that I'm looking for. And what I kind of want to preface this call with is if you are listening to this and you're thinking, holy crap, like either my team or my niche is totally out of line of what I've been looking for, or it's just not in line, what I would say is it's actually been such a blessing to have gone through the last year and a half not knowing my niche and kind of having this sort of collection of personalities on Balance Fit Foundation, and any of the girls on this team from Balance Fit Foundation can agree with me on that, where we are just across the board when it comes to personalities. And it's such a blessing because it's really given me the opportunity as a leader to improve in areas and build strengths in areas that I may not have had a chance to do had I known my niche from day one. So think about it that way. Think about it also kind of like, if you date a lot of people, when you finally date the right guy, you know exactly, or right girl, whatever, you know right away what's the right thing for you. And so I always know when I think of coaches that I've signed up and worked with, and if their personalities are super different, I've had a chance to see things in them that I really like, that I look for in future coaches, and other times where I'm like, I'm not going to look for this in other coaches. So it really has been a blessing to spend the last year and a half really focusing in on my niche and kind of developing this team. So with that said, we're going to jump right in on how you can go about finding your niche. So what are we going to cover tonight? I'm going to start off with this quote, which is basically, you must first know who you are, what you stand for, and what your message is. And basically what that means is before you can find your niche, you must get very real with who you are. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time on this call tonight talking about who we are as coaches and kind of what the vision for our own teams are. Then we're going to go into identifying our personal brand, finding that target audience, inviting with intention, and then getting real with authenticity and being unapologetically you. I'm also going to say I talk very fast. So if anyone is sitting here like slow down, just throw a comment below and I can totally do that. I just want to fit all the information in the time that we have. So you must first know who you are, what you stand for, and what your message is. And I'm going to highlight this quote again because I think it's so important. So Diane Hawkman, who knows? She was a guest speaker on the Chalene Johnson podcast. And if you don't know who Chalene is, she is a personal development guru. She's a fitness celebrity. She's an amazing business entrepreneur, very smart woman. And she had this Diane H on her call. And Diane's job is to help people build their online businesses and to build their brand online. So one of the things that they really focused on was that to ever really target anyone in your own business or to target the people that you're looking for, you have to get very, very clear on what your message is. And a lot of times as coaches, I think we find ourselves in a place where we think we know that we're passionate about this, but we don't know why, or we don't know what our message is, or we don't know how to attract the right people. So we're going to dig into a little bit about how important it is to really develop your personal brand before you can go out and find your niche. Because again, too, as a new coach or even as a year and a halfer, sometimes we focus so much on, I don't know who my people are, I don't know what my target audience is, I just don't know what my niche is. Well, first, if that's your problem, really you have to figure out what you want, not a problem, but you really have to figure out what you want as a coach and what your brand is. So that's where we're going to start tonight. So establishing your personal brand. Step one, you need to sit back and take a personal inventory and get real with the facts. And now what I mean when I say get real with the facts is you have to be willing to kind of dig deep inside yourself and pull out those traits that are buried within, whether it's things that you love, whether it's things that you hate, whether it's things you would rather not talk about, or whether it's things that you're just like embarrassed by, whatever it is, you have to get really real with who you are as a person. And so going through kind of these next 6 questions, how do I think of myself as a person? How would I describe myself? What do I want people to remember me by? So those first 2, what do I think of myself as a person? How would I describe myself? I don't know about any of you guys, but I know I for sure used to have those moments where it's sorry, Andy, filling out like one of those online dating profiles, or whether it's, filling out a job application, or you're doing one of those like 2 truths and a lie icebreaker games. Have you ever had that moment where someone's like, tell us about you, and you're like, deer in headlights, I have no clue how to like put myself into words. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to describe yourself, and how do you think of yourself as a person? And so for a long time, I wouldn't have known how to do this either. But now I can really openly say, I know I would describe myself as I'm outgoing, I'm humorous, I'm really laid back, I have like a girl on action, I love a plan, I love chaos, I love spontaneity, I love just having fun, I'm adventurous, I wing it, I'm a yellow. But that's how I describe myself. I'm really personable. I don't like being the center of attention, as odd as it seems. I do really well one-on-one. I love to dig deep and know the awkward things about people. But if you threw me in a room full of strangers and said I had to make a good impression, I could dominate. So I can tell you a lot about myself. I can describe myself. And so that's really step 1. What do I want people to remember me by? That's something that you want to think about too, because you as a coach, you're putting your brand out there, you're putting yourself out there on social media. So when you log out of Facebook or when somebody passes by your profile, what do you want to be, what lasting impression do you want to have on them? And so for me, I know I want people to remember me by my personality of just the easygoing, but the personable side of it. I want people to know like that girl was just really awesome to talk to. And also I want people to know like that girl's really someone I want to follow. I want to be a part of whatever she has going on because she seems like she has it all together and she seems like she's so fun. That's funny to say out loud, but that's really what I want people to think when they walk away from our interaction. What do I bring to the table? You also have to know when you're thinking about your brand and you're thinking about who you are as a coach, you have to know what is unique about you that you bring to the table. There's a lot of people that are loud. There's a lot of people that are outgoing. There's a lot of people that are quirky and awkward and weird. But what makes you unique? And so I would say, for me personally, I'm unique because when I think about what I bring to my social circle is this positive light, this silver lining, this everything's totally going to be okay, but I can also come up with a plan. I can get us through any sort of situation. And my friends and my family and my coaches are always going to look to me to help them get through the next step. And that's great. That's a unique trait to me that I can own. And that kind of goes into what do I bring to this team. and what makes me unique. So you really want to just take a personal inventory, get clear with who you are, have fun exploring that. Kind of just think about what excites me, what like makes me mad. Why am I so weird? Why is the person that's interested in me date wise, the guy who's dating me, why is he interested in me? Take a personal inventory and be okay getting really personal with it. Okay. Step 2. What about you is memorable? So this kind of ties into that last step, but we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper. So the first thing you're going to want to do is think about your impression on others. So what draws people in and what attracts people to you? So when you think about when you're going out, and a lot of these examples, when I'm talking about them, it's going to be like an external, like person to person or social situation. But always we're going to be tying it back to social media because that's what our platform is. That's how we're representing our brand. That's what we need to think about. But what draws people in? So picture yourself at, a bar or a garage sale or a picnic or a housewarming party, whatever it is. You're in a situation that is full of strangers. What's going to attract people to you initially? Is it that you're outgoing and that you're the center of attention? Or is it that you're more quiet and you're kind of off to the side? Is it that you're talking about politics or you're talking about how to make beer? Whatever it is, what about you is kind of drawing people in? They're like, I'm instantly interested. Then what allows people to decide if they relate to you? They walk away from you thinking, I get it, I like her. And so this is really where you have to be okay with your brand, you as a person. So if you walk up and you say, thinking about, the garage sale, and someone walks up to you, what are you going to be able to talk to them about that they're going to say, I relate, I get it, I'm in? Is it that you are just approachable, you're welcoming, you're warm, you want to talk about the stuff on the table, or do you want to talk about life? What is it that's going to allow people to relate to you? Now, tying that into social media, it's the same thing. What is going to instantly, people are scrolling through Facebook, people have like a 1 second attention span. What's going to make someone stop and instantly draw them into you? Is it your selfie? Is it that whatever picture you posted? Is it the quote you posted? And then when they stop and take a second look, what are you talking about that allows them to decide if they're going to relate to you? And this directly is going to go right into number 3, which is what are your values, ethics, priorities, and character? Now, our brand is on social media. So when you're thinking about putting yourself out there, you have to get very clear on what your values are, what your priorities are, and what kind of character traits are really core to you. And when you're doing this, allowing people to decide if they're going to relate to you, these are the things that are going to shine through. It is going to be those things like what you talk about value wise, how you present yourself on social media. And if you're kind of just hoping to relate to everyone, you're not going to be talking about values or priorities or character because you don't want to offend anyone or scare anyone off. So thinking about value wise, let's talk about, 2 top coaches that most people know. We have Bonnie Ingalls and Melanie Mitro. So one of Bonnie's values, if you look at her page, you're going to see that she is just all about the fun, the freedom. She's quirky. She posts all day long on social media. She doesn't care about typos. She's all over the place. She's valuing just the freedom. She's valuing the fun. She's valuing just doing you. That's her thing. Then you look at Melanie Mitro, and she's much more organized. She has family priorities of her family. She likes to stay like systematic. She has very specific things that she does. Her values are going to be much more organization. She's going to like value the people who are kind of on this one path of I don't like a lot of crazy. And that's okay. You have to really be real with your values and talk about what's important to you. Also, you can think about like Keisha. I'm going to talk about you for a second. Everyone knows you. If you look at Keisha's social media, you can instantly tell what she values and what kind of character she is and what her priorities are. You can tell that she values the girl that wants to work hard to design her own life. You can tell she values the person that's a big thinker, a big dreamer that wants to do bigger, better things. Her priorities are herself first, the airplane mentality. You've heard her talk about it a bunch of times. Her priorities are her relationships. Her priorities are just having a good time, but with passion and with purpose. So you have to be really strongly connected to your values so that they shine through every single day on your social media page, so that you're attracting in the people that share those same values and allows them to relate to you. And then that ties right into then, are those things represented to my audience? So you need to look at your Facebook page. You have to look at sort of what you're representing, and are the things that you value, are the things that are what you really truly care about represented. And I think about my own page, one of my priorities is obviously my relationship with Andy. So you're going to see that highlighted. You're going to see that we have fun together, that we have a good, healthy balance, that we go out on date nights and we check out a social media. That's a value to us, and that's something that we prioritize. And I'm going to want to attract people who have those same values. I don't want someone that has maybe a really crazy relationship. They don't ever do date nights. That's not going to relate to me, and they're not going to want to be on my team either. So what is about you is going to be memorable. Number 3, who do you look up to? And so this kind of goes back to with looking at other coaches. If you're sitting here, and I know I went through this too, you're kind of struggling at, who am I? What are my values? What do I care about? I have no idea. Look at a coach that you really admire. Look at somebody else that you kind of are like, I am so impressed by you. I am so inspired by you. And think about, what do they stand for? What about them do you admire? And why do you admire those certain traits? And those are going to be some of your first clues of what the traits that are in you that you haven't let shine through, or maybe that you're holding back, or maybe that you're representing differently. So again, I'm just going to use Keisha because everyone knows who she is. What does she stand for? What do we admire about her? So the cool thing here is the things that I admire about Keisha might be different than the things that you admire about Keisha, because it's going to be the traits that I value in her. So maybe I value in her hustle, or her determination, or her ability to just remember everyone's birthdays. Okay. I admire that she does what she says she's going to do, because I value loyalty, I value honesty, and I value people that do what they say they're going to do. That's a value to me, and I admire that in her. But maybe your thing that you value in her is that she is always putting forth confidence, and she's putting forth a mindset, and that you can control the direction of your future. Those are things that if you value that, maybe those are traits of yours that you also need to start highlighting more. What do they do that is different than what you're doing? So I think that's a big thing too. If you look at someone and you think, I love what they're doing, I'm not doing that, how can I implement that into my life? Now, this is not to say that you should go out and copy someone. Just because Keisha does one thing or Bonnie does one thing or whatever, you don't have to be like that person. But dig deep and kind of find those themes that you love in those other coaches, and then figure out what that means to you and how you can add it into your life. So using the Bonnie example again, I admire in her the fact that she just doesn't care. She's just going to put herself out there. She's going to put her business out there, and she's confident in it. And if she has typos, oh well. If she posts 4 times a day, oh well. That's what she does. So what's different for me? Okay, I'm not posting, or I'm thinking too much about it, so I'm just going to implement more of the confidence into my business. So it's really identifying those character traits in these other coaches that you admire, and then taking that into your own business and understanding what that means to you. How does these people align with your personal brand, and what is their image? Again, it's sort of when you envision sort of yourself and you think about how you would describe yourself and how you would describe your personality traits, how do these people relate to you, and kind of what it is about them that's drawing you in, that's attracting you to them versus someone else. And you can even think about the people in your current life. Think about the people that you love being around and the people that you don't love being around. What are those traits about these other people that you like? What do you relate to? And then I love this example, who is a person that you're intimidated by and why. I think that that's a really cool thing to think about, because I know it's kind of the similar concept of, they say, if there's someone in your life that just drives you crazy, you get so annoyed by them, a lot of times the things that you get annoyed by are reflections of things that you don't like about yourself. So if you see someone at a party who is just like super loud and they're talking to everyone and they're just like blah all over the place, and you're like, wow, she's so annoying, like she could just like calm herself down. Well, maybe what you're reflecting is that you don't like that you don't have the confidence to go out and talk to everyone, whatever it is. So in this particular thing, who are you intimidated by? Those are going to be the traits that when you look at someone and you're like, wow, she's so cool, like she's way cooler than me, I'm so scared to talk to her. What about her is so cool that you envy, that you kind of are intimidated, that you want to be like? And so I think about, going through sort of like, who am I? Who's my niche? Who's my brand? Who would I be intimidated by? If I visualize the girl that I'm intimidated by, a year and a half ago, it would have been the girl. If I walked into a happy hour and she was sitting at the corner of a bar, she had on red lipstick, drinking wine, she's like talking to the bartender, she's talking to everyone, she looks confident, she has a great outfit on. I'm like, that girl is freaking awesome. I'm sitting on the other side of the restaurant. Because I was scared of her. I was scared of that girl. But that girl has actually turned out to be the girl that I am and the girl that's my niche. So the things I loved in her, I loved her confidence. I loved that she was just outgoing, that she was putting herself in public. And I loved that. So think about somebody that maybe you would be intimidated by, and what traits can you add into your life that they are already having? All right, step 4. So, what does your current image say about your brand? And now I love this one too because I think this is a huge reality check for a lot of people, especially if you're kind of stuck in a place where you're either thinking, I can't get business builders, or I can't grow my brand, or I can't get Success Club, or whatever it is. You have to take a step back often in this business and look at your own image from an outsider in. And so, thinking about what does what I'm representing show other people. So if in your head you're thinking, well, I'm a coach, I'm building a business, I want to attract business builder coaches, I want to run challenge groups twice a month, whatever it is, whatever you want in your head. But then you look at social media and you're only posting about fitness and nutrition, no one knows that it's a business. So who cares what you're thinking about it? You have to, what does your current image say? And I know I think about this a lot when I was back in the corporate world, because I remember when I started my job at corporate, and I really thought of myself as sort of this, I'm a badass, I'm super determined, I'm really smart, I'm good at my job, I'm driven, like I'm just amazing. And then I would hear, in front of me, people saying, oh, you're so cute, you're just, such a hot mess, you're a dumb blonde, you're unorganized. And it was kind of like, why is that the image? Well, that's what I was presenting. I was presenting like, yellow, whatever. And so, of course, no one was going to take me seriously. Even in my own head, I knew I was smart and determined and driven. That's not what I was showing. So you often in this business have to take a step back and think, what does my brand say? So first, what you want to do is a social media inventory. I honestly do this probably once a week, but, do whatever you want with it. But look at your post. Take a step back and say, okay, I'm gonna go to my page as a new person. Does what you're posting fully represent you? Does it represent all of your values? So if you're only posting about fitness, are you missing out on the other priorities? Are you missing out on the relationship piece? Are you missing out on the personal piece? Are you missing out on the business piece? Are you missing out whatever it is? Are you fully representing yourself, or are you focusing all in one area? You also want to think about, if someone new visits your page, in this business, what do? We grow our networks. We're always adding new friends. So if someone new comes to your page, what are they going to learn from you? They don't know you. They have zero background on you. All they know is your highlight reel. So what are they going to learn? Are they only going to learn that you do Beachbody workouts, or are they going to learn that you have great advice and that you're a good thinker and that you have an entrepreneurship mindset? What are they going to learn? And then the other one is I like to think about is pay attention to who is already engaging in your post. So if you're looking and you're posting stuff, do you have all coaches liking your stuff? Do you have people that you're kind of like, what? Why would you like this liking your post? Or are the people that you want to be attracting liking your post? If you're missing the people you want to be attracting, maybe you need to kind of reassess sort of your posting situation here. And then I'm going to skip over 2 really quickly and go straight down to 3. But I also like to ask myself, would I be attracted to me? If I'm looking at my social media page, would I want to talk to me? Would I be like, oh my gosh, this girl is so fun? Or would I be like, I'm over it, fitness. Would I do that? And also, something to think about, would I respond to my own Facebook messages? So I always think about, my brand, my image. Who am I? I'm fun, I'm going, I'm easy, I'm laid back, I'm just out there, just kind of like carefree and it up the world. I'm not going to respond to a message if someone sends me something super dry, super scripted, super like, hi, how are you today? I would love to tell you about this opportunity. Like, ew, no, delete. But if someone sent me a voice message that was just kind of like, hi, so I have this great thing. It's super fun. I know you already like working out. So like you can do this from home. We're going to have a great time. There's like prizes. I'm like, oh, this sounds fun and competitive. Sign me up. So would you respond to your own messages? If you wouldn't, you have a problem. So definitely something to think about. And then I'm going to go back to number 2. A great way to kind of reality check yourself too is think about like how you think of yourself, and then how would your friends describe you? How would your team describe you? And so with the friends thing, if I went out and I was like, hey everyone, I would just like to tell you, I am super cool, calm, and collected, very organized. My house is spotless. I'm always on time. I am a great person to provide structure and organization. My friends are going to be like, the F you are. No, because that's not me. So how do your friends describe you? And that's a great place to kind of think about who you are. What do people think about you? And then what would your team say? And I think that's a big one too. Because you can't think that you're one way if your team thinks of you a different way. We'll talk about leadership for a second. If you think I'm super engaged, I'm super there for my team, and your team is actually thinking like you're not actually there, there's a miscommunication. And on the flip side, if you're like, oh my gosh, my team loves how involved I am, I'm feeling great, and your team is actually like, I'm overwhelmed, you're way too much, also miscommunication. So really kind of think about how your team would describe you and feel free to ask for that feedback. I asked Andy for it, I've asked family for it. Really, it's okay and it's good to hear and it's good to think about. All right, step 5. What group do I resonate with? The 2 questions here, why are you here? So that's going to be really, who do I seek to serve and who are my peers? Now, who do I seek to serve? The way that this presentation is laid out, we technically can't answer that because who do you seek to serve is your niche market. But who are your peers? And so I think this is a great thing to think about as you're growing your organizations and as you're kind of building out your niche and building out your brand, you're going to have 2 things. You're going to have followers and you're going to have peers. So your followers are the people who are going to need your help. They're going to constantly need your helping hand. They're going to just want to do what you do, follow your lead, but they aren't necessarily going to grow bigger with you. They're not going to ever want to be your partners. Your peers are those people that you're going to bring into your business that want to think the way that you do, and they want to partner with you, and they want to grow with you. And your niche are those people that want to grow with you. And unfortunately, if you are still so unsure with who you are as a coach and what your message is and why you're doing this, you're only ever going to attract followers because you're never going to feel confident to attract those peer people. It's your peers are those people who might intimidate you right now. And I know I think about this, if you look at other people in this business, again, we'll use Keisha as an example. If a person doesn't know what kind of coach they are and they're like, well, I really think I want to be a girl boss, but I'm not 100% sure about it, are they going to feel comfortable inviting Keisha into this? No way, because Keisha is just like vibrantly girl bossy. But if they were like, hell yeah, I'm a girl boss, they're going to approach Keisha and be like, girl, you are my peer. We're on the same page. Let's do this together. So as you start to figure out yourself, you have to think about who do you want to partner with you in this business? And then who do you seek to serve are those followers. It's the people that need your help, whether it's people in the fitness realm or it's people just wanting a pump upper or whatever it is, the community of this business. So those are really kind of the steps you're going to want to go through as you're thinking about establishing your personal brand. So now that you've done that, so I would highly recommend going back through that, treating that exercise seriously. A lot of that information is from a lot of different personal development professionals, so I didn't just make it up. And treat it like a training. Really go through, answer the questions for yourself, dig into it, and you're going to find out a lot about yourself, and it's really, really helpful. But once you go through that, once you get really, really comfortable with who you are, now it's time to go out and find your tribe. Now it's when you can say, okay, here's who I am. Let me go find out who my niche is. Let me go find the people like me. So we're going to walk through how to find your tribe. So finding your niche, step 1. So we're going to have, I think it's 4 or 5 steps here. But step 1, who am I as a coach? Well, hey, thank goodness we just did that exercise, right? Now you know who you are personally. You have a good idea. You're like, this is who I am. This is Jackie or whatever your name is. And then we also want to look at who am I as a coach from the black and white external factor. So the black and white external factors are those things that you could throw in a resume, you could put in bullet points, and these are the things that without even knowing us as people, they can still see what it is. So are you a mom? Are you a wife? Are you single? Are you in a relationship? Are you working full time? Are you a nurse? Are you a teacher? What are the black and white external factors? And then you also want to ask yourself, how do I spend my time? What are my interests? What do I like to do for fun? And this is a cool one because this is the one where you're really going to want to think about, okay, I figured out who I am. I figured out sort of, what my personality traits are, what my values are, what my ethics are. And now I got to think about how I'm going to spend my time. So how do I spend my time? Okay, I'm thinking. So I love happy hour. I love adventures. I love being outside. I always will say yes to something new, whether it's, going rock climbing or white river water rafting or something. I love just trying new activities. I like animals, so maybe I like spending my time at the dog park. I, every now and then will love a Friday night alone, watching SVU. How do I spend my time? What do I like to do for fun? So I'm clear on that. I know that I like to be out in public. I know that I like to go out and have coffee. Those are the things I know I like. And so I have that as a clear idea in my head. Now, what is my end goal? This is another important thing of like, who am I as a coach? you have to get real clear on your long-term goal here. So my end goal when I started this business was I'm going to leave the corporate world. Now that I've done that, my end goal is still I'm going to continue building this business. This will be my forever. I will always be building this business and growing my organization to have it be a platform for other opportunities, whether those other opportunities are helping Andy open a brewery, helping Andy leave the corporate world, helping us go on more vacations, maybe even like doing a different business, whatever it is. Beachbody is my end goal. It's my forever platform. But that's going to be different for some other people because sometimes people are going to be, if you're a student, your end goal is not necessarily going to be Beachbody. Maybe your end goal is you're going to keep this as an accountability thing and you're going to keep trying to grow it, but your end goal is doing something with whatever you graduate with. Or if, whatever it is. I don't want to go into too much detail, but get really clear on what your end goal is because that's ultimately going to affect who you want to invite into this business. With me knowing that this is my forever, I'm not going to go and try and recruit a bunch of grad students and change their minds to become Beachbody coaches because that's not their end goal. But I can go talk to the girls in the corporate world and say, hey, here's an opportunity it'll give you all the same highs that you're getting from the corporate world with a whole lot more freedom. So you want to get clear on that. Step 2, where would I meet someone like me? And I love this one. Again, this is going to be one of those examples where we're going to talk a little bit about the in-person aspect, and then we'll go into the social media side. But first, where would I meet someone like me? What would attract me to them to me? What kind of personality will they have? Where would they spend their time? So this is why we do the activity of how do I spend my time? What are my interests? Okay, perfect. So where would they spend their time? Probably in the same places. What would attract me to them? Well, I'm going to be attracted to the girl who is either very approachable. Maybe I like her fashion style. Maybe I like how she's dressed. Maybe I like that she's drinking wine. Maybe I see that she has a dog. Whatever it is, like what's going to attract me to them initially? I'm going to just instantly be like, okay, I like you. Something there. I'm going to go talk to you. And them to me. I know that I'm very approachable. I'm very friendly. I'm really open. I'm going to probably compliment you when I first meet you. That's the type of person I am. But that's what's going to attract them to me, and it doesn't creep them out. If it creeps them out that I call them pretty, then they're not going to fit in on my team. Now, the personality side. This is a big one too, because right away, let's say everything externally looks good, we start talking. Personality, if I'm really outgoing and I'm really vivacious and I'm really just awkwardly making crude humor and blunt, and that's not their personality, that's where we realize we're not going to relate to each other. Well, or if they start talking and they're like, let's talk about the upcoming election, and I'm like, you lost me. So, you want to think about what types of personality traits are the people that you want to meet. And this is where you have to tie this into social media. So chances are in our business, most of us are going to be building our businesses through Facebook or Instagram or other social media platforms. So you're not always going to be out at the dog park or at happy hour at the nail salon meeting these people. So how do you represent that on social media while still bringing them in? All it is simply sharing your life, doing the things in the places that you would have met them anyway. So I think about, again, what do I like to do for fun? Where would I meet these people? So now I'm going to share those opportunities. I'm going to share when I am out at a dog park. I'm going to share when I'm out walking Green Lake. I'm going to share when I'm going on date night with Andy. Because when the girl's at work in the corporate world and she's scrolling through Facebook and she sees me sitting out at the lake being like, oh my gosh, having so much fun working on work right now, that's going to stop her. She's like, man, I wish I was at the lake right now. I want to be like having fun. So how can you post that, I guess, is basically what I'm trying to say. And now when you think about the personality, this is really where you're going to have to think about language. And language is freaking huge in this business. And it's probably, I don't want to say it's one of the most important things, but in a lot of ways, it is one of the most important things. You talking, whether it's you posting, or whether it's you messaging, or whether it's you commenting, whatever it is, you have to speak and type in the language that's going to relate to the people that you want to attract. So I think about myself, again, I've gone over, I'm fun, I'm humorous, I don't take things too seriously, I'm really blunt, I swear, whatever. So when you see me posting, I want to make sure to highlight those things. I want to make sure to say, oh my gosh, I'm having a great time right now. I'm sitting out on the roof, drinking a coffee, working on emails. Then later, I'm going to lay out on the floor and I'm going to work on a training for my team. And it's just a splendid day. Obviously, it's not going to be that cheesy, but I'm going to use words that are going to attract the fun haver. They're going to attract the person that's really easygoing because they're going to be like, wow, that sounds like the bomb. versus somebody who's like, wow, that girl's such a wanderluster, so not my type. And that's okay. If somebody's like, she's way too laid back, not my thing, that's okay, because if they end up trying to sign up and then they join the team, they're going to see it sooner or later. So I'd rather them see that up front and realize that I'm not the person that's going to draw them in. And the same thing, if you are more of like the red personality where you like systems, you like structure, that same post that I just did, instead yours is going to be dominating today, crossing off things on my to-do list, creating training and creating organization, and I can't wait to put together this coach packet, or whatever. I can't even speak like it, but that's kind of the things that you're going to want to be saying. You're going to be using that language that would pull you in. And this is when you do that social media inventory, when you're going back through your old posts and stuff, look at how you're writing. Would you be attracted to you? And this is where you have to get very clear on who you want to be, because you can't be copying other people's social media. You can't be writing like other people, because it's not you. That's not authentic. So think about that. Think about the language. Think about how you're working it, and then how can you highlight those same interests. So does that all make sense so far? Where would I kind of like, how would you incorporate that into social media? You're really looking at how you would work your own personality into it. And one thing I want to add too is, so you're going to hear me talk a lot about how I'm a yellow personality. I do have red aspects, so I'm mostly a yellow with red. So when I do post, I am looking for that specific little niche that is the fun haver with organization. The girl that's totally fine winging it, the girl that's totally fine having a late start to our phone call, but also knows that there's some documents and trainings. Because I personally wouldn't join a team that was all just for fun, but I also wouldn't feel comfortable joining a team that was super structured. So I have to think about what I would want, and that's the girl I want on my team. All right, step 3. What are the biggest burdens that they face? And I love this one, because I think that this is a huge thing that we sometimes lose when we're trying to figure out how we're going to help everyone. We have to first figure out the whole way that we're ever going to be successful in this business is if we are providing the solution, we're not looking for always constantly like finding the answers or just give people advice, whatever. We're giving people a solution. It's that whole start with why. It's when, Apple invented the new iPhone. Phones were already there. Phones were already like, communication was already accessible, but they created a solution to something. They created, here's how you can have internet in your fingertips. Here's how you can have text messaging, back, whatever. It's a great video, Simon Sinek on YouTube. Start with why. I highly recommend it. But you have to think about what the solution is going to be. So first, to get there, what's the biggest burden that you were facing before Beachbody? And what are your burdens currently? So that can be interchangeable depending on where you're at in your business, but think about it. So for me specifically, what were my burdens before Beachbody? Well, I went to a 4-year school, I traveled a little bit, got a job, and I had a great career. From an outsider looking in, I really had it going good. Had a great job, I was moving up in my career, I was making good money, I was, dating the right guy, I had my own place, like I was doing great. But my burden was my time. I just never felt like I had control over my time. And it was, okay, how am I going to, I'm a super social person, if you haven't picked up on that already. And, if it's Tuesday night and my options are do laundry and clean the house, go grocery shopping, or go to happy hour, here I come, happy hour, I'm not going to do laundry or groceries. Okay, well now Wednesday comes and Thursday comes and crap, now the house is a mess. I feel super stressed, but it's Saturday and Sunday, so I'm not going to sit back and do chores. I never had control. I never felt like I had enough time. Having only literally 2 days a week of nothing, not my jam. So not my jam. And I hated getting the look from my boss, and it was like, hey, I have to take another Friday off, I'm going on vacation. Hey, I have to take another Tuesday off, going on vacation. And that look you get where it's like, honey, are you super serious about your career, but you're taking this much PTO? Yes, I'm serious about my career, but I still want to go on vacation. So what was my burden? My burden was time. So what burden does my audience have? It's going to be that same burden. So I'm not looking necessarily to solve the world's problems. I'm looking to find the audience that just wants control over their time. They simply just want control of their life, and that's the burden that my audience has, because that was my burden. That I didn't have anything else. I didn't have some of the other examples on here. Is the burden weight loss? Is the burden income struggles? Is the burden that they have a lack of passion and they just don't know what they want to do with midlife crisis? Are they a new mom and they want to, were you personally a new mom and you had to go back to work and you hated leaving your newborn at home, and Beachbody gave you a chance to make some money to come back home to be with your kid? Maybe you already have kids and you hate leaving them with the nanny every day. income wise, maybe your boyfriend decides to go to like NYU dental school. Who knows? What is the burden here? And what burden does your audience have? And then why is coaching the solution? So we are not, again, out to change the entire world. We are not out to find a bunch of different problems and try and find a bunch of different solutions. So we need to look at how are we going to offer the answer to a problem that somebody already has. So when you can get really clear on what your burden was, therefore what your audience burden is going to be, then you don't have to worry about, okay, well, this girl is a little overweight, so this is her solution, and working out. Okay, and this girl is a mom, so I think this would be a good solution for her because she can come home from work. And this would be a good solution for her because I see she's already fit, but maybe doing it at home. No, I'm not trying to go out and just find a bunch of problems with people. I have a very clear idea of the burden that my audience faces. So what am I going to talk about on social media? What am I going to portray? I'm going to portray that I got control of my time, I got control of my life, I got control of my balance and my happiness. And I'm going to instantly draw in those girls that are like, holy crap, I do love my career, but that sounds so much better, because that's their burden. And then I have to think about, how is this a solution for me? Well, obviously, I was able to leave my job. So if you're still in the corporate world and you're working towards this, you still are setting that example of saying, I'm working towards it. I'm setting the bar. I'm going to make it happen. Join me in this journey. And then you have to think about, what can coaching specifically provide them to improve their situation? How is your offer better than the competitors? Because that's going to change based on whatever your audience burden is. So if the burden is weight loss, well, there's a whole lot of weight loss, whether it's a diet, whether it's a gym, whether it's a different fitness program, there's a lot of competitors out there. Why is your offer the best? Well, I would think with weight loss, because you're not only giving them either a workout or a diet, you're kind of giving them a combination of both. Plus, you're giving them accountability, you're giving them community, etc., etc. Why is your offer the best? For me, I know my offer is the best because when I think about the girl that I'm looking for, how do I spend my time? What am I interested in? Well, I love doing things outside. I love being active. I've always worked out. I was a corporate climber. I was able to build this business while still working full time. So my offer is the best because the girl that I'm looking for is into those same interests. She's going to be drawn into my outgoing personality, and I'm going to be drawn into her big thinker personality. And I'm going to give her an opportunity to work in the fact that she's already into fitness. She can be active, and she's also going to make income, but she's also going to get all of these other things that she's getting from her career, because she's going to get a chance to talk to a bunch of people. She gets to have new material in front of her. She gets an opportunity to lead a team. She gets all these opportunities that she already wanted from the corporate world, plus her passion of like fitness and just being active. So my offer is the best. No one else can compete with what I have because I can't think of anything else better for me. So that means every girl in my audience is going to know that Beachbody really is the best thing out there. But I can't be that confident until I got real clear on what the burden was for my audience and for my niche. So that's really kind of the different stages you're going to have to go through when you're thinking about why you're here, who it is that you're looking for, and all of these different personality traits. All right, so leading with proper intention. So this is kind of shifting a little bit, and these last couple of slides here just have some good information, I think. But you want to ask yourself, knowing what you know now. So after you go back through and you've done all of the different, like, what is my personal brand? Who am I? What do I have going on here? What am I looking for? And then you go through, what is your niche? And you go through all of those different questions. You fill them out. You feel good about it. Ask yourself, how are you currently presenting the opportunity? Because I think that that's going to instantly let you know if you've been in line with your niche or if you've been out of line with your niche. So first and foremost, what do you lead with? Are you casting an open net or using specific bait? Because one thing that's good to think about, you are going to attract in what you lead with. So those people that cast those open nets, they're just like putting something out there and then they're just dragging in whatever they can. And who the heck is good? Who to say whoever you drag in happens to be one perfect little niche person? I hope that they're not, because if they're in your niche, but they got drug in with a crowd, that means they're not special and unique. And you want the special and unique people that are going to stand out. So you can't just throw out bait and just hope that people bite. And I think a good example of this, and this is not to knock anyone that does this, because it is a good idea, but it's, when you announce a challenge group and you say, oh, the first 3 people that sign up for my challenge group win a free water bottle. Okay, that's great, but are you only attracting then people that are only going to do stuff for free things, or are you attracting the girl that actually wants to take control of her life and focus on health and fitness? really, what are you getting out of that different post? Who are you attracting with that? And then thinking about when you talk to new people, how are you presenting the opportunity and how are you packaging yourself? And so if you are leading with, oh my gosh, it's super fun, it's super awesome, it's super great, like, how I would lead with the opportunity, it's, you have this community of people, sorry, my computer's about to die, that, and then they get into your team page and it's not that fun, they're going to be turned off. Or if I were to lead and say, hey girl, if you come into this team, I'm going to give you an Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to give you a goal-oriented map, I'm going to map out a strategy for you, I'm going to give you every single step-by-step that you need, let's do it. And then they join and I'm like, so what's fun for you? Tell me what your goals are. They're going to be like, I joined this because you told me you were going to tell me exactly what to do. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Let's just chill. So what do you lead with? And another big one here is not what do you lead with, but you want to think about whatever you do lead with, people are going to need that to stay. And I think that's huge. So again, if you are trying to like bribe people into it with free gifts or false promises or trying to be a person that you're not going to be able to keep that up. And then those people are going to leave anyway. So you might as well be truly authentic to who you are and just be honest so that they have a very clear expectation of who they're getting involved with and the type of team that they're joining. And a big one here is income. If you lead with income, if you tell people, let me show you how you can make a ton of money in this. We've seen people make money in the first couple months super fast, blah, blah, blah. And you lead with income, what are they going to need to stay? They're going to need instant income. They're going to need instant gratification. But if you can lead with, I have this great community of people, we have a great time, there's a lot of loyalty, there's a lot of trust, there's confidentiality, there's like this sisterhood, there's this bond, they're going to stay just for the bond. They're going to stay for the community. They're going to stay for the joy of being a part of that team. It's not about income or it's not about false promises. So think about as you go through kind of the steps. I know for sure I used to lead way off than what I really was. I promised people things I couldn't deliver on. I said I was good at things that I wasn't because I was trying to be a coach that I wasn't. I was trying to copy other coaches that I liked, but those traits were not true to me. And so when you can get really real with who you are as a leader, then you're going to start attracting in the right people who are going to be your peers and your followers in the right way. And then, is there a common theme in your downline? This is not to say anything bad about anyone's downline, but look at the coaches who you have personally sponsored. And is there kind of a common thing, whether it's, are they all discount coaches or are they in and out coaches or are they people that constantly need you to cheerlead? Are they self-motivated? Like what's kind of a common personality trait in your downline coaches? And take a second to think about why did you attract that audience? So no matter what it was, if they've been with you for even more than 2 months, there's something about you that brought them in, and what is that thing? And so if it's something that you love, keep doing it. But if it's something that you don't love, figure out why that's happening. And then again, use it as a blessing to create better leadership traits in yourself, dealing with personalities that maybe not be right in line with who you are. Okay, this is really small. So finding your authenticity. So what makes you you? So one of these first quotes on here is, if we are not our true authentic selves, we can't draw people to us we will genuinely click with, nor can we repel the people that we shouldn't be working with. So basically what that quote means though is the idea of, if we aren't our true selves, then we're not going to attract the people that we are, sorry, the camera's backwards here. If we're not our true selves, we're not going to attract the people that we're going to click with. And so think of it in a creepy way as online dating. If you go and fill out your online dating profile and you're like, I'm such an outdoors person, I love dogs, I'm totally down to try any new food, and I am just super winging it. And then guy picks you up, he's 15 minutes late, he brings you to an Indian restaurant, his dog's in the car, and you're just like, I didn't like this at all. I was like, I wanted a plan, I wanted to go like somewhere I'm comfortable with, I hate dogs. It's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna like have a relationship come with that. So you have to be out there on social media truly being your authentic self. And I think what we really, more importantly, need to get comfortable with is we need to get comfortable with repelling people. And so I think one of the things that is important to think about is if you bring someone into this business and into your team with false promises or false first impressions, once they get into the business, it's going to be frustrating for you because their personality is not going to click with you. Whether it's you want to have fun and they want organization, or they want organization and you want fun, it's going to be frustrating for you. It's going to be frustrating for them. It's not fun for anyone. And all of a sudden, you've taken an opportunity that's a blessing and turned it into a second burden, essentially. And so that's not fun for anyone. And so you have to get really, really comfortable repelling people. And I know that takes time, but I know for sure, when I was first starting this business, I was like, I don't want to offend anyone. Like, I don't want to push anyone away. But when you consistently just do these neutral sort of posts and these neutral sort of messages, you miss your niche and you end up attracting the people you don't actually care to hang out with anyway. So don't do it. Get comfortable repelling. And I think a great example here, and I swear this is the last slide, but a great example here is the idea of religion. And I heard this an example in a podcast a couple of days ago, and I think it's really cool to think about. When you're thinking about how you're highlighting your values, you're highlighting the things that are the most core to you, the most core character traits, your biggest belief systems. I'm not a religious person, okay? So you're going to hear me use terms like the universe, the world, whoever's out there, whatever it is. And I'm really, really, really comfortable with that. Well, if you are someone, let's say you're Christian, your religion is with Christianity. You have to be really, really, really comfortable sharing that that's one of your values, knowing that you might repel people or, turn off people who aren't part of that faith. And it's nothing against you. It's nothing against the other person. But you have to share that because that's part of your identity. That's part of one of your core values. And so it's a very extreme example to think about. But if you hide that, if you don't share that, and then somebody joins your team and there's a lot of that influence in the team page, maybe that's going to be a turnoff for them, or maybe it's not, whatever. Vice versa. If I go out there and I'm like, okay, I want to be super, I don't want to swear, I don't want to seem offensive to anyone, I'm going to use really proper grammar, and then they get in my team page and they hear me do a team call and I've used at least 4 of the different bad words, they're going to be like, who the heck is this girl? This is so not what I signed up for. So you have to just really be okay being you. And if you turn people off, good. You should turn people off. They are better off with someone else and you are better off without them. So get comfortable repelling and just do you. It's okay. You're fine. We love you. So always ask yourself, are you highlighting your quirks, passions, and values? Kind of just talked about that, again. You want to be talking about what your passions are, what your values are, and your quirks, but don't misrepresent your quirks. I know for sure I'm never going to go around being like, oh my God, what? Because that's not who I am. Being dumb is not fun. Being dumb is not quirk that I want to represent. I might have awkward moments, but I'm not going to misrepresent my quirks. So be cautious of that, but also be real. What does my dream team look like? What are the dream coaches on my team? What kind of leader am I to them? So what I mean by that is basically when you are going through these stages again, you're kind of figuring yourself out, you're figuring out your niche. Think about if you were to start with a clean slate today. You have just signed up as a coach and you get the power to design every single coach how you want them. What are their personality traits? What is your relationship with them as their leader? What is your culture in the team page? How much interaction do you have with your team every single day? And when I think the big one here is the type of leader that you are. Because when you think about your dream team, you really want to think about, okay, do I want coaches that want daily check-ins with me? Do I want coaches that need me to set goals for them? Do I want coaches who are more self-motivated? I know for sure I'm personally not good at remembering other people's goals. So if I have a coach that really needs me to kind of stay on them and stay on track with their goals and check in with them 2 days before the month is over to make sure they're in the Success Club, I'm going to drop the ball for sure multiple times because that's not my strength and that's not the thing that I do. I have a lot of other strengths, but I'm thinking, okay, if I'm thinking my dream team coach, dream team people, I'm going to not necessarily include a trait of somebody that constantly needs me to check in on them for their goals because I am such a self-motivator. I'm such I'll get it done. I know I will. So I have that same expectation in a lot of other people. So think about those things and think about also, the law of kind of, how high you're willing to go. You have to be willing to bring your team up with you. You're looking for those peers. So who are the people that you want partnering with you and building this organization with you? I love this. It says, if you have a message to share and you are unapologetically yourself, people looking for a person like us will find us. And basically what that means is one of the coolest things that I've learned about sort of finding your niche and getting comfortable with your niche is once you've identified it, you don't just always have to go out and look for it because the funny thing here is your niche, you're also a niche to those people. So what you put out and what you love, those people are also like, we love her, we love that. So when you just share your message and you are unapologetically you, then people are going to find you just as fast as you're going to find other people. And so that's what's cool. You lose sort of that I have to always constantly go out and like search for people and recruit people and hunt people down. No, just be you, and you're going to attract the right people into your business, and there's going to be that little magical click that happens, and you're like, we totally have the same brain, and it's awesome. So I love that idea. And then again, am I attracting peers or followers? Just always do a self-check. Are you attracting people that just need you? Are you attracting people that just want you to be their cheerleader, want you to like hold their hand? Or are you attracting the people that literally think like you, act like you, have the same confidence, have the same drive, have the same determination? And if you're only attracting followers, then you know that you have areas in your life that you need to work on in order to be confident enough to attract those people that are also confident, that are going to be self-driven. So that's I think that's the last side, but those are some things with finding your authenticity, just being really okay being you. Okay, so I know you can't read this. I'm definitely not going to stick my face that close to the camera, but I wrote this down. So I thought this was kind of fun. After I made this presentation, I went back through and I did the activity. I actually answered all the questions. I figured it all out. I was like, okay, I'm going to do my niche. I'm going to read to you really quickly what my niche is, and these are literally straight from going through like who's my target audience and answering the questions. So my niche is a girl in her mid-20s to mid-30s, is in or would be in a similar relationship to me. She loves new experiences, working hard, eating out, sleeping in, organized chaos, going all out. She won't be judgy. She has an open mind, doesn't let the little things get her down, and keeps a positive outlook on life. So that's who I am as a coach, right? That's who it is. So where am I going to find her? I will find her at happy hours, walking Green Lake, enjoying the dog park, getting her nails done, while out with friends, on a hike, in line for coffee, at a cooking class. So I'm just kind of like listing things that I would like to do, and I'm like, okay, I would do that. I would totally find her there. And I'm going to share those things on social media. I'm going to make sure that I'm talking about those experiences. Okay, so why are we going to be attracted together? Well, we're going to be attracted because we're both open-minded people welcoming a new conversation, and we are clearly having fun. That's really it. I'm not going to overthink it. Do not overthink your personal brand. I'm just going to have fun with people who want to have fun. Her biggest burden is her time. She loves to work hard, and therefore she's heading down a strong career path. She's probably in recruiting, marketing, sales, or a business-minded role. And I say that because, again, when you think about the people that you're attracting and the people like you, what type of careers would you have gone into, and where are you going to, that's for me at least, because I'm looking for girls that want to leave the corporate world. So what career paths would have I pursued? And those are the industries I'm going to look for. She's respected by her coworkers for her strong work ethic, and while she is great in the boardroom, she feels that she has never enough time during her evenings and weekends to do it all, and this bums her out. So why will she love coaching? Why is it her solution? Well, she will fall in love with the idea of coaching because she gets to do all the things she's already doing in her career, yet on her own time. She's still getting to work with others, create new material, climb the ranks, meet new people, and feel the highs of a successful day. And she will love that she can control her own schedule and find time for all the things that she's backburnered. So these are all things that were my burden as well. So this is really easy to do once you've gotten clear with who you are. And then why am I better than any of her competitors? Well, she will pick me as her coach, and this is an important one. So she will pick me as her coach because I am just as relaxed as she is. I will shake off the small things and not push her harder than she is individually willing to push herself. She won't mind that I'm unorganized because she'll love how blunt I am, and she'll laugh when I swear or make inappropriate jokes. She will love that she can drop her guard, vent about a problem, and feel equally motivated to find a solution. She'll love that I'm flexible and that if she puts in her honest hard work, I'll invest in her wholeheartedly. That is my niche. That is my girl. Like, so now when I'm out there, I'm sharing my experiences, I'm targeting my market. This is the girl I'm talking to. This is who I'm looking for. This is what I want in my team. And that's going to be so much easier for me because I'm not searching to find people that I can fit into their life. No, I'm going to just do me, and I'm going to find people that want to fit into my life. And here she is. She's right here on this paper. This is her resume. So that's how do the exercises. Really, truly go through it. Get real with yourself. Have fun with it. And I promise you, once you kind of have that clarity of who your niche is, it's already fun, but it becomes that much funner because you are really, truly just clicking with those people that are like your sisters for life. So I absolutely love you guys. I think this is officially the end. Yay, the end. Thank you guys for staying on. I think it ran a little long, but love you all. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to switch it back over to Keisha. Love you guys, and have a great rest of your night. Thank you for all the compliments. Mwah.
Okay, that was amazing. I'm going to get the recording posted in a team page. Jackie, thank you so much. I think we can all agree so many